Hey everyone, welcome to another video. As always, my name is Jay, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit more relaxed, but still an in-depth analysis. This is going to be part one of my in-depth analysis of the new Astra Militarum Codex, formerly known as Imperial Guard. Now personally, I like the name Imperial Guard, so we'll go, this is just part one. This will be my first impressions of the Codex, their Warlord Traits, their special rules, and yeah, just a little bit of my feel so far the Codex. I've gone through it a couple times so far, and yeah. So basically, as most of you know, Imperial Guard is actually a pretty old Codex. It was from basically the end of 4th, beginning of 5th. So it's an old Codex, and the reason why it has stood it stood the test of time in many ways because the Imperial Guard are very good at shooting. They're a shooting army. They're not really an assault army. They're very big at shooting, putting a lot of bodies on the table and getting a lot of shots off. And that's what really 6th edition is kind of about. 6th edition is about shooting. And that's why Imperial Guard have been very good. Also, when flyers got very strong, Imperial Guard had some access to some really nasty flyers, i.e. the Valkyrie and the Vendetta, both of which are amazing. And yeah, so they've stood the test of time. But now it's time for a new Codex. So Astra Militarum comes in. First of all, name change. I'm not a big fan of the name change. I understand why Games Workshop did it. It's basically for trademark reasons. Imperial Guard is a very generic term, and therefore Games Workshop lately has been kind of obsessed with trademark. So yeah, trademark and copyright is basically the name of the game. So by changing the name to Astra Militarum, their official name, GW can basically hunt out pretty easily whoever copyrights their names, because Imperial Guard, generic, Astra Militarum, very specific. And you also notice that with this codex, like with the other previous codices, Tyranids, you'll notice that a lot of the models where they haven't, or a lot of the names of models where they haven't produced the models yet, have been removed from the codex and replaced with something of the same niche. That way, once again, GW has copyright over all of their models, and there's no other company out there producing models of the same name. So, without further ado, let's get to the Codex, of course. So, my first impressions of this Codex is I actually really like it. Now, I don't see a lot of crazy combinations. Now, obviously I could be wrong. I'm just reading this through the first glances, but I really like it. It seems to me like it's going to be internally balanced and still be pretty competitive. Now, we'll still have problems against like Tau or Eldar, very shooty or maneuverable armies like they did beforehand, but they do have some answers in this book, and I really like them. Overall, points got cheaper, which is what I predicted. Typically now the points get cheaper and realigned. Their HQ section almost entirely got cheaper. Their troop section almost entirely cheaper. Elites stayed the same. Fast attacks, some went up, a couple went up, most of them went down. And their heavies got pretty much cheaper, which is nice. As I said before, in the old Codex there was like the Medusa, Colossus, and Griffin. They were all a member of the Ordnance Battery. Those are gone. I could be wrong, but I don't see them. I'm pretty sure they're gone because models were never produced. So GW just decided to axe them from the Codex. They have been replaced by the Wyvern or Wyvern. Not a bad looking tank and probably their best looking of the new vehicles. I, for one, am not a big fan of the Taurox or the Taurox Prime. They don't look good to me. They look a little silly to me. But the Wyvern or Wyvern looks quite nice. It looks like it's going to be a good addition to the Codex. Here it is right here. I'll show you quickly. And basically, I see it as being a complete kick in the face to Orcs and Nids and other Imperial Guard armies. So we'll talk about that later in the heavy support section. So the new additions of this Codex I like. The Wyvern is good, Taurox ugly. The new models are great. I'm not going to do any reviews on them, but I like the new Ogryns and Bulgrins. They look great. And as I said, the points got realigned, made to be cheaper. Now in the end, the troops themselves, the base troops did not change at all because they're already pretty much as cheap as they can get. But most of the upgrades got much cheaper. So I think Imperial Guard is still going to be as competitive as they always were. Now, they did bring into alignment some of the broken models. They did kind of make them more expensive, but that makes sense because they were so broken at that points cost. I'm talking about the flyers. In 6th edition, the flyers became imperative, and Valkyrie and Vendetta spam was everywhere for the Imperial Guard, and they're just so cheap. I think they were about 100 points each, and that is just way too much, way too little. For a Valkyrie, or a Vendetta was about 130, I believe. And that was dirt cheap. You could bring tons of them, people would spam them and destroy your opponent. It wasn't very fun, so they got a little bit more expensive. They're still going to be competitive, obviously, but they just got nerfed in the sense they got a little bit more expensive so that it realigns them. And that's what I really like about this codex. One of the things I've always loved about Imperial Guard is that there's so many options for Imperial Guard. You have so many models, tons of options, and there's so many ways to run a fun and competitive Imperial Guard army. That being said, I think this codex is completely true to that once again, and there are still tons of options, and there's so many competitive options out there. Will there be a leaf blower list? Now, for you guys who don't know, leaf blower list pertains to the old 5th edition, early on in 5th edition, where there were lists that could just blow your opponent off the table. Perhaps. I don't think it's going to be that easy, but there are some definite nice improvements and some really nasty things added to this codex, so I love it. My first impressions, I really like this codex. Complete opposite of Tyranids in my opinion. Good internal balance. There's a lot of great things in this codex that I would like to run in a competitive list, and it seems like it will be competitive in the external balance. Again, it may have problems with Eldar or Tau, but pretty much everyone else does as well. But with that many bodies, if you field that many tanks and that many bodies, it'll be very hard for a Tau player or an Eldar player to take you out. Now we're going to go to now that my first impressions are done, we're going to go to the Warlord Traits. Now obviously with every new codex, they throw in Warlord Traits and special rules pertaining to that specific codex. So we'll start off with the Warlord Traits. Warlord Trait of 1. And by the way, this is actually the first time that I've read a Warlord Trait, and all of them are good. I would love all of them, and they would all be great in different situations. So the Warlord Traits are awesome for this particular codex. Warlord Trait of 1, Grand Strategist. Nominate D3 units as the primary detachment. These units gain the Outflank special rule. So if you want to outflank some stuff, that'd be awesome. Great rule. Number 2, Old Grudges. During deployment, but before deploying infiltrators and before scouts are deployed, choose one Warhammer 40k codex. Now this is a little confusing wording, but the reason is the Warlord and his unit have a preferred enemy special rule against all units chosen from that codex. So you choose your opponent's codex, and your Warlord and his detachment get, Warlord and his unit have preferred enemy. Preferred enemy, reroll 1s to hit and wound. What can go wrong there? That's awesome. Number 3, Draconian Disciplinarian. That's a great tongue twister. Units, friendly units from Codex Astra Militarum within 12 inches of the Warlord do not take morale tests for suffering 25% or more casualties. So in a way, they're basically fearless for those senses. That's awesome, right? Your opponent can destroy a bunch of the weaker dudes that just, die instantly, and it won't matter. They don't have to take a leadership test. They do have low leadership. They're all about 7, so preventing that, amazing. Number 4, implacable determination. Implacable determination. I don't know. The Warlord and his unit have relentless. That's great. Number 5, Bellowing Voice. Now, 5 and 6 are a little similar, but they're pretty cool. 5, Bellowing Voice. Your Warlord has the Voice of Command special rule. Now, most of them, I'll go over after what this means, but most of the Warlords do have the Voice of Command special rule that you normally would be taking as your HQ or your Warlord. But if he already does have it, he can issue orders to friendly units within 18 inches of him, which is great because it's a boost. Kind of like Synapse is 12. You can only do orders within 12 inches normally, unless you get this one. And number 6, Master of Command. Your Warlord has the Voice of Command special rule. Once again, if he already has it, he can issue 1 additional order per turn. So 2 orders per turn. You'll see how nasty these orders are. They're awesome. That's a great, great Warlord trait. So now we're going to go over the Voice of Command, which is important because this is basically the foundation of your HQs. They're going to be given commands as they would in the previous codex, and the commands are awesome as I mentioned. So issuing an order, basically you must select a single friendly non-vehicle unit from Codex Astra Militarum that is within 12 inches of your officer unless you have the 5 as your Warlord trait. And this can be the officer's own unit if you wish. We call this unit the Ordered Unit. The Ordered Unit must then take a leadership test to see if the order has been understood and acted upon. If the test is passed, the order takes effect as specified in the description. If the test is failed, order has no effect. Unless an order causes the ordered unit to make a shooting attack or run, receiving it does not prevent the ordered unit from acting later in that phase, whether the order was successful or not. Makes sense. Orders cannot be issued to embarked units or units that previously received an order that phase. Makes sense, you can't give multiple. Whether or not the order was successful. Unless otherwise stated, orders cannot be issued to units that are locked in combat or falling back or have gone to ground. Inspire Tactics. If a double 1 is rolled for the ordered unit's leadership test, once the order has been resolved, all further orders issued by any officer are automatically successful for the remainder of this turn. That's awesome. So if you roll double 1s, from then on, any order for the remainder of that turn automatically pass. Great stuff. Next is incompetent command. The opposite. If you roll double 6s, you cannot issue any more further orders for the remainder of that turn. So here are all the orders. Number 1, take aim. The ordered unit must make a shooting attack. When resolving the shooting attack, all models in the ordered unit have the precision shot special rule. So you can just stack as many of the 6s to hit on one particular guy, on a special guy on the leader, and kill him. Next one is smite at will. The ordered unit must make a shooting attack. When resolving the shooting attack, the ordered unit has the split fire special rule. Split fire is cool. Next one is first rank fire, second rank fire. Now this is pretty much standard of the previous codex. Ordered unit must make a shooting attack. When resolving the shooting attack, all models firing with the las guns or hotshot las guns fire one additional shot. Forwards for the Emperor. The ordered unit must make a shooting attack. Once this shooting attack has been resolved, the ordered unit must run, even though a unit cannot normally shoot and run in the same phase. So forwards for the Emperor basically gives like the Tau combat tactic, where you can, combat focus, where you can, shoot and run. That's pretty cool. Move, move, move. The ordered unit must run. When determining how far the unit runs, roll 3 dice and use the highest result. That's great. Makes them run. Suppressive fire. The unit must make a shooting attack. When resolving the shooting attack, all weapons in the ordered unit have the pinning special rule. Pinning is good in certain situations. Most things are fearless though. Bring it down. Bring it down can only be issued with a model with the senior officer special rule. The ordered unit must make a shooting attack. When resolving this shooting attack, all models in the ordered unit have the tank hunters and monster hunter special rules. That's awesome. So if you're against a Tyranid list is in trouble. Or against a lot of tanks. Tank hunters and monster hunter, amazing. Especially if you're against Eldar or Tau, who have monster creatures and vehicles. So that's good, helping them attack Tau and Eldar. Fire on my target. Fire on my target can only be issued, once again, by a model with the senior officer special rule. The ordered unit must make a shooting attack. When resolving this shooting attack, all weapons in the ordered unit have the ignores cover. Wow. Ignores cover. Once again, Tyranids relying on their venom tropes, orcs relying on their custom force field, or anything in cover, goodbye. Get back in the fight. Get back in the fight can only be issued by a model with the senior officer special rule. Unlike other orders, get back in the fight can only be issued to a unit that is falling back or is going to ground. That's cool, so you get them back again. The ordered unit immediately regroups if falling back, but it does not make a 3-inch movement. If the unit has gone to ground, the effects of going to ground are immediately cancelled. Instead, in either case, the ordered unit can act normally for the remainder of the turn. So run, shoot, etc. Charge. Very cool stuff. So once again, the orders can help basically ignore your opponent's cover, give tank hunter, bring guys back from falling back or gone to ground. Awesome sauce. The orders are going to be really powerful, and I think the key to running a really successful Imperial Guard army, Astra Militarum, is going to be knowing what orders to run at what time. And you definitely want to get some senior officers in there because they have access to the cooler powers. So that's great stuff. Now I'm just going to double check to see if there's any extra war gear. I didn't see any. Let me just see here. I didn't see any. 65. Oh, there's Heirlooms of Conquest. So that's what I was thinking of. They also introduced in this codex something called Heirlooms of Conquest, which are basically artifacts. And we'll go over those too. Why not? So there's the Tactical Auto Reliquary of Tiberius. Great name. When rolling leadership tests for orders issued by an officer with the Tactical Auto Reliquary, any successful leadership test that results in a double will count as inspired tactics. Cool. However, if you roll a double 1 while using the tactical, you still benefit from inspired tactics. Though the officer has accidentally shut the device out of the Vox network, it may no longer be used in the game. Oops. The Laurels of Command. Whenever a friendly unit from Codex Astra Militarum within 6 inches of the bearer is required to take a morale check, the bearer of the laurels may choose whether they pass or fail. So if you want them to fail, go for it, otherwise they pass. It's great. However, if the model with the laurels is removed, it's casually all friendly models within the unit from Codex Astra Militarum within 6 inches must take an immediate pinning test. That would suck. Kurab's Aquila. The officer and all friendly units within 6 inches have the preferred enemy special rule. Now this is only for Astra Militarum. I'm tired of saying Astra Militarum already. This is going to be an annoying thing to keep saying in this review. Have preferred enemy special rule. In addition, the bearer may reroll a single failed leadership test per turn. That's great. And next is the Blade of Conquest. Range minus strength +1, AP3, melee mastercrafted. And then the Emperor's Benediction. Range 12 inches, strength 5, AP4, type pistol, precision shot mastercrafted. And the Death Mask of Olenius. The bearer of the Death Mask of Olenius gains a 4+ invulnerable save and has it will not die and fear special rules. Awesome sauce. So, I really hope you enjoyed. This is my part 1 of my in-depth review. I'm going to go through in some more detail. Now, each specific group, so HQs, elites, troops, and fast attack and heavies, and which ones have gotten more expensive, which ones have gotten better, which ones have gotten cheaper, and which ones would you probably take in an army, the new models versus the older models, etc. I'm going to have a good time, just go through them all. There's some hilarious things in this codex that I wonder about if they're typos, because if not, I don't know what's going on. Apparently one of the guns has a 240-inch range. 20 feet. So hopefully that's a typo, but they'll probably FAQ it. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching this video. Stay tuned for the next part where I'll be going over the HQs. Please like the video, comment in the comment section down below, and subscribe to my channel if you already haven't done so. It really does help a lot. And until next time, this is Jay saying, happy wargaming, everyone.